Hey guys, it's Libby. I feel that the term wrap-up is a bit too dignified to describe what this video is going to be. So this is going to be a ramble about my reading habits in August, and then maybe if we're lucky a September TBR at the end. August has been a weird month for me. I feel like it's been a weird month for a lot of other people. It seems like people are starting a lot of books and then not finishing them. I've been doing that too. I've got more books on my currently reading list than like possibly ever before. There's 6 or something on there right now. And this is extended to like the rest of my life. I've been having difficulty focusing on like one project, and I've been sort of spending like 10 minutes cycling through all of the various things I have to do in a day, which is maybe not the most efficient, but if I don't do that, like, honestly, all I want to do is sit and sew this chemise and watch PBS Spacetime videos. I am not kidding when I say that I have watched all of their videos straight through in about 2 days, and now I've started back at the beginning and I'm watching them all again. Also, that may explain the hot mess behind me. So I've only finished 2 books in August. Let's talk about them. The first one I did not actually own. I borrowed it from my cousin, but I do have this bookmark, so I'll hold that up for you. It is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by lots of people. J.K. Rowling, Jack Thorne, and John Tiffany. I did give this book slash play slash 2 plays its own review, which I will leave a link to in the description. But one thing that I didn't mention over there is that I borrowed this book from my cousin when I was visiting her and her parents over in California. And I had kind of not been planning to read it. Like, I enjoy Harry Potter, but I would not call myself a hardcore fan of Harry Potter. I've read the first 3 books a couple of times, but books 4, 5, 6, and 7, I've only read all of those once. The last movies, I may have seen 5 twice, but I think 5, 6, 7, 1, and 7, 2, I've only seen those once. And it seemed like people were saying that Cursed Child was not like the greatest thing that has ever graced our universe. So I wasn't planning to read it, but then the August restless apathy struck me, and I was like, here is a quick and easy thing for me to read. I will read it. And I got through it in the guest room of my aunt's house in about 2 days, which, surprisingly enough, is exactly the same circumstances in which I read Twilight by Stephanie Meyers. I will say that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is certainly more competent than Twilight. I have difficulty establishing which one is better, though, because there were some serious problems. Anyway, I think I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. And then the other book that I finished, and the only series that I've been like really excited to be actively reading this month, is The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett, which is the first book of the Tiffany Aching series. This was so great. I'd read it once before a really long time ago in probably middle school. I don't even think it was high school. And I think I had marked it as a 4 stars on my Goodreads, but this is definitely a 5-star book. It's about a young milkmaid who has to rescue her brother from the Fairy Queen, and it's just perfect. You know, I think that my reading of this book may have, the second time at least, has been informed by all of the Thomas Hardy that I've read, because I hadn't read any Hardy when I read it the first time. And the setting is very similar. This is set on the Chalk, which is basically supposed to be Devon in England. And Wessex, Thomas Hardy's Wessex, is sort of in that area of the world. And they both have a kind of rural, early 19th century thing going on, so some of my Hardy love may have transferred a bit and intensified my Pratchett love. I will be talking about this more when I do my guide to the Tiffany Aching series, so look forward to that. And now moving on to my currently reading. So the one I've most recently started is A Hatful of Sky, which is the second book in the Tiffany Aching series. It is excellent. Then the ones that I've been reading the longest are Daphne du Maurier's House on the Strand. I'm still not super far into this. I'm 90 pages in. This is a book about time travel, and so we have our stuff that's happening in like the 1940s or 50s. And then we have our stuff that's happening in the 14th century, and the stuff in the 14th century is so bewilderingly confusing that I'm really struggling through those parts. And I'm like, just let the potion wear off and come back to our time and deal with your issues with your wife. That's way more interesting. And then also, I have been making fairly steady progress in my audiobook. I'm listening to Redemption in Indigo by Karen Lord. It is fairly enjoyable, but it's also really slow paced. It definitely has that methodical fairy tale storyteller sort of feel. And then the two books that I started for the Booktubeathon but still have not gotten that far in. I've hit halfway in Rebecca. Rebecca is my favorite book of all time. Why is it taking me so long to read it? August. I am absolutely loving it whenever I do like manage to crack a page. I was curious because this is the first time I've read it as opposed to listened to the audiobook in quite a while. If you count audiobook listens, I've read this like over a dozen times. And so I thought I might skim sections, but I'm really not. I am savoring each word, which makes it take longer, but life is for living, not for racing through. And then also Radiance by Catherine M. Valente. I am slightly struggle bussing with this book because, like, I think that there is a plot in there somewhere, but it's really difficult to access. It's got a bit of the feeling of Illuminae in that everything is interviews or descriptions of film footage or that sort of thing. And I am on page 149 of like 400, and it's always nerve-wracking turning to the last page to see what number it is, out of like 430. And I'm still not totally sure what's going on. Like, I know what's going on, I just don't know why it's going on. I think maybe I need to read something lighter and fluffier, because like the books that I've actually been able to read are Harry Potter in play form, so like even more light than the novels. Not that the novels are like light, but in comparison to this. And then Tiffany Aching, which is like lower YA fantasy. I think I've been taking my reading too seriously this summer, and I need to get some more fluff in my life. That's what summer's for. Everyone else reads fluff during the summer. So I'm kind of hesitant to make a September TBR because like my TBR is going to be finishing all of these. And honestly, all of my books look really good to me. Like anything I haven't read, I would be happy to read now. I'm also looking at my shelves and realizing how little fluff there is, so maybe I'll just keep powering through with the Tiffany Aching series. So I'll be reading Wintersmith, I Shall Wear Midnight, and The Shepherd's Crown. Okay guys, thank you for watching this very mellow video. I hope your August has been more productive than mine. I have been on vacation because I work in the school system, but September I go back to work. So hopefully this will spur me to greater action. I'll see you later.